Let's have it.
Hello and welcome to the program. I am Ekene Ndulue. The National Assembly remains on its annual recess. However, a major issue has resurfaced which has got Nigerians once again asking, when will this whole sorry saga finally be resolved? And with the indefinite extension of the ongoing strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Asuu, the Senate has waded into the matter in an effort to find a lasting solution to the prolonged industrial action by Asuu. Here are the highlights of an interaction between the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TETFund and the Ministry of Education.
Honorable Minister, let me commend you, the Permanent Secretary and other directors, for the achievements you've recorded, achievements that are clearly tangible and are not easy to achieve in the light of the paucity of funds, as you have articulated in your brief. It's instructive to note that you have been having between 5 to 7% of the budget, whereas 15% is supposed to be the proper benchmark. I'm also glad to note that some states have even surpassed the benchmark. It shows that we are making progress because education remains the foundation upon which all development must be predicated. We want to assure you that we'll join you to make the case in the next budget year. Let us hope that there will be an improvement. Some of the problems we're having as a country are directly a function of the kind of difficulties that we are having dealing with our education the way we should do it. The fallouts can be seen in the security challenges, in the militancy, in the kidnappings, and all sorts of vices that could have been stemmed if we gave the proper direction and funding to our education. Having said that, there are definitely some concerns that we would like to share with you. That is why we are here. And I'll share some of these concerns very quickly. When I was looking at the statistics for scholarships between states and regions, I didn't see a balance. I did not see a balance. I know I've been able to sit here during some of these scholarship considerations, and the criteria is usually very tight. But I have not been in the conclusion of these processes. But what I can see from what I see here are serious discrepancies in terms of states and in terms of regions or zones. It's usually very important for our country for this balance to be established for purposes of equity and fairness. I'm happy you spoke about the library. It's something I came here to speak to. Each time I'm driving from the airport and I pass that building, I feel sad for our country. The National Library, the National Archives are supposed to be first-class institutions for any country. One of the bases for our crisis is lack of institutional memory. How can we as a country award a contract for the construction of the National Library in 2006 and up till this time the building is just standing there as a monument of shame, collective shame to all of us? I am happy that you are trying to do something about it. Please do it quickly. And let us understand that national shame is not a good thing. That National Library should be completed very quickly. You can see some of the problems we have. It was awarded in 2006 for 8.59 billion. And because it has been left there for so long, BPE has re-engineered the cost to 49 billion. See what we are going to lose. Whereas this is a preeminent national institution. I don't think countries joke with their libraries or their archives. We must all put our hands together to please make sure that the library is completed. Honorable Minister, you spoke about more universities. If you ask me, I'm not impressed. More universities in which country? When the ones we have been on strike for over 6 months, and they have informed us that they are now going to go on strike indefinitely. We are not happy. Parents are crying. We are all parents. Some of them are accusing us that because we are privileged and our children are abroad, that is why we are indifferent to the plight of Nigerian children at home. Young people have so much positive energy. But if you allow it to go or lay waste, it transforms into negative energy. We must do all to ensure that this strike is no more. I know that from the point of view of the ministry, there will be many things to say as to why engagement with Asuu has not yielded results. I know the minister, for instance, will say that these academics are too stubborn. They would say that they have done everything. But I'm a university teacher myself, and I know that university teachers are stubborn, yet they are very reasonable. They are speaking not just to their welfare, they are speaking to the health of the educational sector in general. Honorable Minister, please, whatever we can do, I will appeal to you with the fear of God. I will also tell the university teachers, things are not exactly okay right now. Challenges are global. Get to a point of making these lecturers know that you are offered the optimum. And let the lecturers understand that that being so, there must be a limit to how they track these matters. Our children are at home. 6 months in the life of a young person is too much. I know how it used to be when I was active in the university as a lecturer. When you keep us at home for 6 months, I know how it feels. I know how the students feel. We urge you, please, to deal with this matter. There is no way we can come here today and leave without talking about Asuu. Our country is tottering on the verge of a precipice. We need our universities functioning. We need our students and children back to school. We urge government, through you, to please show maximum responsibility and deal with this matter. That is our appeal, and we hope it will be taken seriously. Thank you very much.
Chairman, distinguished honorable senators, members of committee, permanent secretary directors, and other members of staff of Federal Ministry of Education. On the issue of scholarship awards with regard to balance. I'm happy, Prof, you have said you've been part of, so it's not an allocation on federal character basis. It's a process that is thrown open through competition to deserving Nigerian students. On the issue of National Library, you can see that it's not entirely the problem of the Minister of Education. Release of fund has been at the center of this problem, and the fund is released not by the Ministry of Education. Therefore, I think you also have a role to play as parliamentarians. You can have we also do our interministerial consultations and lobbies and all that. So we urge you to also liaise with your sister committees in the Senate and House of Reps, using parliamentary forces to help us in the release of this fund, so that we are as worried as you are. Like to see the National Library perform. But the good news is that the TETFund is ready to fund that project, so we can have it standing for the benefit of all of us. Chairman, I beg to disagree with you a bit. The number of universities we have compared to our population of over 200 million is not too much. In our interaction with the Indians recently, in India you have over 1,000 government universities. Now, I will come to the issue of funding. When we resolve the issue of Asuu, which I'm sure, God willing, will be done, I'm going to react to the Asuu stuff. When we are done with the issue of Asuu, I think we need a national dialogue. We need a stakeholders national dialogue on education, so that we'll be able to tell ourselves the truth. Will education be wholly the responsibility of the federal government? Must ask that question and find an answer. From where we imported education, is it free? In the United Kingdom, in Europe, in America, is education funded wholly by the state? So we must be able to find a practical and realistic way of funding education. Now, the Asuu strike is an issue that concerns everybody. And like I tell them when we meet, contrary to what they think, some of us still have our wards in public universities. I do. I have in Futo, I have in River State University, where I also passed through. So it is not in our interest that our children are too. Prof, sir, government has done everything, discussed everything, and virtually yielded to all the requests of us. The only thing the government refused to yield to is for us to be paid for 6 months that they did not work. Prof, government cannot do that. And I think that equity will not permit government to continue to do the same thing. Because I personally believe that it is because every time Asuu goes on strike for 9 months, for 1 year, for 6 months, they go back, they are paid. So they are encouraged. They must now know that any day they don't work, they will not be paid. Yes, and if they continue, if they refuse to go back to school, if they refuse to go back to school permanently, but I'm glad to know that some universities are already, talking sense to themselves, and they are reopening, they're going to school. Even the students themselves are no longer happy with the situation. they're not happy with Asuu. So if there is no deliberate action by government or by Ministry of Education to keep our children at home, no, we're not happy about it. So we're doing everything to make sure that. But I think where it is now is for the Parliament to intervene. Call Asuu and beg them on behalf of our students, on behalf of government, beg them to go back to school. It's a global standard, it's a global issue. So we cannot continue to keep it under the bed. And then Asuu will always have their day, and then every day they make strike. An instrument of, Prof, you're looking at me like that.
Chairman of this Tertiary Education Committee, Honorable Minister, it should have been the reverse. I should have spoken first. Then the chairman at the end will wrap it up. Now you have let everything to the end, and then the woman will come in to say what? I have nothing to say. I'm telling you that I did not have anything. The Honorable Minister, honestly, I just want to make some comments on your presentation. Positive ones, though. One thing I must comment in your presentation is this. On page 25, out of school children. This is a vice that is sticking out like a sore finger. Out of school children. About 2% of our population, that is children, are out of school. In 10 years, what do we have? What will we have in 10 years to come? And when you said it's an achievement, I want us to carry this achievement further. You said, of course, they intervene with some feeding, isn't it? And compulsory basic education and the like. But do we actually have this at the grassroots? Does it really work? Is it working? I just don't know. Is it working? This is one. And then when we talked about federal polytechnics age 19 and 28 as achievements, have they taken off? It's different from being established. Have they really taken off? We don't know. We should know. Because every strategy has been taken care of. It's beautiful. We talk about Asuu here. We reflect about it. We perhaps bear our own opinions. But as part of Asuu, I am part of Asuu. I know the first priority, is the welfare of the children, of the students. It's their welfare we're talking about here. We're not talking about their salaries only. Of course, it has boiled down to just one, that is paying their salaries, because that is what I have heard now. But what I am saying is the initial problem was the welfare of the students. In a hall like this, let's say in mass communication, you have over 300 in a hall like this, and the miserable lecturer will stand there. Do you think he will reach them? I think that was where the idea of strike came in. Let us build our schools let us provide infrastructures. That was the initial thing. But because they voiced out and they said they must remain adamant, now they are said to be not working, and so they will not be paid. If they did not do that, they wouldn't have received at least these positive concerns now that they have already agreed on. If they had refused to voice out the initial problem, and it is in doing that they sat at home to make sure that these were responded to. And now that they have responded to these ones, you are now saying because they are not working, we cannot give them, or they cannot be paid. I feel a little bit different here. I'm shivering because I know I have colleagues who are suffering. Yes, the students are suffering, and of course we parents, all of us here, are not having it easy. So I feel that maybe the ministry can intervene in your dialogue. National dialogue, I don't think it will bring a better solution. We at this level, smaller group, would perhaps prefer a better solution if we can just look at this and maybe convince government that it is not because they wanted to sit at home. Please, let them reconsider, review this position. It's not because they wanted to sit at home. They sat at home so that government will implement what they have agreed to implement. And you are saying they are not going to be paid. That is my own position. Thank you.
You can see the harm. You can see the harm that Asuu strike is doing to our education sector. You know, no matter how you look at it, I would disagree with you that lecturers went on strike because of the welfare of the students. No. Students would have gone on strike on their own if their welfare was a problem. Oh yes, you don't take Panadol on another person's headache. Yes. So anyway, it's obvious that you are interested parties in this strike. As members of the academia, we are, but because you are on the other side, I'm at the center as always. So I think, Chairman, I'll hand over to you because we have resolved all the issues. The out of school program is working. The feeding thing is working. In fact, you need to confront us with facts and figures. Just like you said, you are from Shadam, you have the facts. Look at the other issues, and if they are not working, you bring it up to us. They will follow up. So, Chairman, I will give back to you to make your final statement, and then call it a day.
My colleagues and I are happy to be here to engage with you. I'm sure the engagement has been robust, and we've been able to draw attention to some very critical issues. I know that the Honorable Minister, with his legislative experience, has been able to make it all go very smoothly, but the points have been duly noted. The Asuu question remains a burning issue. We'll be delighted to hear very, very soon that that matter has been resolved. It's an embarrassment to our country, I must reiterate. An Honorable Minister, if there is need at any time to invite us to join in the discourse, we will be very delighted to come and share the burden of that discussion with you. We have also spoken on all other issues. We are happy with the progress you have made in some very critical sectors. We have also made our plea on other sectors that are not looking good at all. The National Library issue is an issue we would like to leave with you. Our country is a great country. When we leave sore tongues like this, it doesn't speak well of us. All of us together. So I'm happy that something is being done. Altogether, I think we have had a beautiful session. May God help Nigeria. Thank you very much.
On behalf of our minister, who is unavoidably absent, Adamu, Federal Ministry of Education, the management and staff, I want to appreciate your action of today, the oversight in our ministry. We enjoyed the level of interaction, enjoyed the jokes, enjoyed the seriousness of the oversight, and we look forward to meeting you again, having noted all the issues raised where I think further actions are needed.
Well, that concludes this episode of Senate 109. Thanks for your time. I am Ekene Ndulwe. Bye for now.